Hi everybody, this is Felicia. So I gave you or showed you the first video on of my series called Sketchiness, and that sketch that I had was by Laura Whitaker. Now the sketch that I have right now is by me. So this sketch I created on the Adobe Photoshop. And what I did was I tailored this sketch to the photo that I'm going to be using, and you'll see in a minute here. So I wanted it to make sure that it was just perfectly set for the photo and for the design that I had in mind. So as you can see, I got the space here for the photo. And this is, keep in mind, this is a generic sketch of that I've created. So I'm still working with the Photoshop and creating some more sketches. So I'll be getting more and be showing you more of the sketches that I can do. So I have designs here and an element here, and I have this rectangle here and a circle here and a star and some splotches. Now the lines are for journaling. My title is going to go horizontally, and then down here at the bottom is a bunch of design elements. So I'm going to show you how I take this sketch, and I'm going to do it exactly how it is on the page, give or take a few embellishments here and there, and then you'll see exactly how I work with these sketches. So I am going to speed this video up, so I hope you enjoy. Thanks. Alrighty, so now what I'm going to be doing is showing you how I put this sketch together with this photo. And as you can see, I got the sketch here right next to me so I can follow it closely. I know I said I'm going to follow it and do it exactly like on a paper, but when I turned the camera off, I started thinking, you know what, I need to really embellish this thing. So there you see me with two exclusive Scraptastic papers from my monthly kit there, and that is from the July kit. And so what I'm doing here is I'm cutting out the blocks here. I'm doing the basic parts of this sketch, and I'm just trying to cut out the shapes here that are going to be going on the layout itself. Now this particular one here that I have my fingers on, I cut it too short. So what I ended up doing was cutting it, redoing it, and cutting it again. So. And then I also cut off that little piece at the bottom here. And see, that's when I'm like, oh gosh, I cut it too short. And then for some reason, I just kept going. And then I realized, oh, yep, that's right. I get it. Better get another piece. So there I have another piece. I cut it longer, like it's supposed to be. And I'm going to grab my pencil and leave a little tick mark there so that I know where to cut it off at. And there it goes. It fits perfect. So now I'm gonna, I trimmed off that little bit of paper there off of that strip, and I'm going to cut off a little bit more on this piece here. So there. So I was looking for that particular size and shape and look. So I'm going to dump out all of my embellishments because now I'm going to start to embellish it. I've got all the basic pieces that I want down there, and I still haven't figured out what I was going to use for my journaling block, but I finally went in my stash and I found some things there. So I'm trying out a few things to see what looks best in that area because I'm going to put the journaling block right there. And I decided to go with that piece. So now that I've went with that piece, I am going to cut out a little strip that's going to go right above the block there. And I'm going to put that right behind there. So now I'm going to be going through my embellishments here, and I'm going to start embellishing. Oh, actually, I take that back. I'm going to make a circle. Now, the first circle I made here was a little too small, so I realized that I needed a bigger circle, so I went to go get my bigger punch, and that's why you see me disappear for a little bit, and I come back with a bigger circle. So now I'm going to go through my embellishments. Now I pulled out a bunch of embellishments. I'm not necessarily going to use everything that you see here to the right. I just pulled out what I think might work and what I think might fit. So I just pulled out a bunch of stuff. And you know, whatever doesn't fit, I'll just put it back in my stash or back in the kit, depending on where it came from. So I'm starting at the bottom here. and I'm pulling out some embellishments for the bottom. Now the bottom of that sketch calls for banner type pieces or fishtail pieces at the end, but with an arrow front. So what I decided to do with that bottom, which you'll see here in a little bit, was something different. And I also fishtailed that little strip there that you see that's behind the circle on the sketch. Thought I'd do a little bit different to give it some variety and a little bit of interest. So I'm heading towards the bottom here of the layout to try to grab some embellishments to embellish that. And I pulled out quite a bit because I wanted to make sure that I had enough to embellish that this layout. So I got some at the top that I'm liking and I'm sticking with that. I really like how that looks. And I'm going to finish at the bottom here with some more embellishments. So like I said, when you do a sketch, it really does not take a long time to put a layout together once you have a sketch. I mean, sketches save a lot of time, especially, sorry about that, the voiceover cut off on me. Excuse me. So, like I was saying, sketches save a lot of time, and so don't feel afraid or intimidated by a sketch because you can get a lot of layouts done that way. You really can. So I'm going to be embellishing here, finishing up the bottom part with some more cluster embellishments. And I am trying to figure out what I'm going to keep on and what I'm going to do and what I'm going to stick with. You can see my fingers tapping because I'm thinking. So I'm pointing to show you what I've done so that you can see those areas. I mean, I still have the basic layout of the sketch, but I decided to go ahead and embellish it differently. I originally had that embellishment down there at the bottom because I was going to sew at first, but what I decided to do was change my mind on that. So I am looking for some more embellishments here. And now I'm deciding to commit to gluing everything down because I've got the basic part of the sketch done. So now I'm going to get all the basic areas of the sketch down and then do all of my cluster embellishments after I get everything down where I would like for it to go. So there you have. Now, if you looked on the sketch, you would see I have a little bit of a design element above that particular section of the layout. And you can look and see that. And so I'm tucking that behind there. So I'm going to commit to this particular section right here and gluing down the design element behind that piece of paper right there. And I'm going to put it right by the photo. And now I'm going to start putting down the rest of the cluster embellishments layer by layer here at this particular section of the layout. And now I have the tags down and all the other embellishments are going to go down. And I still kept with the same how I had it the first time, so because I like that look up there. And all of those die cut pieces that you see there came from out of the Scraptastic kit. And the flare badge came from out of a previous Scraptastic kit. Gluing down my arrow at the bottom here. And now I got that down and I'm going to start putting some of the little plastic pieces. Now those plastic pieces, I don't know if I mentioned it before, but because the voiceover cut off and I can't remember if I did or not, but they came from the Scraptastic kit. And that cluster of embellishments came from the Scraptastic kit as well, including that particular tab there. Oh, actually, no, that tab came from the Freckled Fawn kit. Sorry about that. You can see me fussing around trying to get it in there. It wouldn't lay down straight at first. So now I am going to start getting a lot of these pieces glued down here. And see, I changed that bottom cluster around there at the bottom a bit. So you don't really have to have, I'm sorry again about that, the voiceover cut off, but like I was saying, you don't have to have a whole lot of embellishments to make your layout look a certain way. long as you stick with the basics of the sketch and how the sketch is laid out, your layout will turn out just fine. So I'm adding some of those little dots on the bottom of those plastic pieces so they'll stay down. And I'm going to put that arrow right there. So it's there now. And so right now I am pointing to, pulling out the sketch, kind of comparing. You see me point to certain things on the sketch there. And I'm showing you what I've done and how I've clustered embellishment, some areas and things like that. And I'm going to add a little bit more embellishments on, and those are cork adhesive stars, and those are from Studio Calico. And now I am getting the title. Now watch what I show you. See, I put it there because it's not going to go there because it's a horizontal title. And if you looked on the sketch, it showed a vertical title. So what I'm going to do with this horizontal title is put it right there, because there's a perfect spot for it there, and I wanted to cover up those words on that little tag anyway. So, not cover them up, I'm just say put them above. And so there I put the title there, and I have that little, put another star there. And now here I have a wood veneer, and that is from the Freckled Fawn kit. Now I figured that since I realized I wasn't going to be using that wood veneer on any other layout, and even if I decided to save it, it would have took me a while to put it on another layout. I decided to go ahead and put it on this layout because that's my little buddy there, and he is the best little buddy. So there, and I still have enough room for journaling. Adding a little bit more glue so that I can get that down because it kind of popped up a little bit. I want to make sure it stays. And so now I am taking that stamp, and that's just a design, and it's a bunch of hearts. And so I decided to stamp that so that the tab will not be blank. And now I'm going to start my journaling. So there you have it. The sketch really doesn't take the layout doesn't really take a long time if you have a sketch. And I will be bringing you more of my sketches here in the future. So I hope you enjoyed this. And if you have any questions or anything that you would like to ask, don't hesitate to leave me a comment below, and I'll be more than happy to answer for you guys. Thank you guys, and have a wonderful, wonderful day. Take care. Bye-bye.